Good morning guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to continue the theme we did on Monday, and we're going to be talking about lower body stability. Okay guys, so on Monday we talked about how any kind of rotation, how it can affect your putting stroke, how it can encourage that figure of eight, how it can get us misstriking the ball and get us not being as consistent as we'd like to be with putting. Okay, so today we're going to go from rotary to more lateral movements that I see when I get a lot of amateurs come for lessons. So again, I start to see a lot of where we sway off like a full swing and then we hit through, okay? Or I see people just hit through, okay? Or I see people fall back, catch it thin, top it, start to see it bobbling. So if that's you guys, then this video is going to help you. Okay, so the first movement we're going to look at is the one moving towards the ball. Again, we start to see some compensation sometimes. We'll start to see people try and use the wrist. We'll see them lean towards the ball and use the wrist. Okay, so we want to get this lower body more stable. So first of all, what I want to do, we've got cap toe on again today. Okay, so we're going to look at the numbers. We're going to show you what it affects. Okay guys, so we've loaded cap toe now, so we're going to go and get some numbers, and the first movement I'm going to do is moving towards the ball. But one big thing I want to go through, again guys, when you practice, okay, spend more time lining that ball up, okay? So whilst we're at home, you know, even when we get back to the putting green, but especially whilst we're still at home, we can practice lining that up. Okay, so I know this putt's right edge, okay? I can make sure that's lined up as I want, which it is. Okay, the more time we spend doing this at home, doing it on the putting green, it becomes normal and it'll become part of your routine. Once we can do that, we can be more consistent because we're getting better feedback on every putt. Even in the house, if you can see it rolling end over end, it's going to give you more confidence. It's going to let you know that you're doing the right things. Okay, if we don't line it up, if we hit a putt and it misses, we don't know why, we've got no feedback and we're guessing as to why we've missed that putt. Okay, so line that up. So line it up every time. I check it with my shaft. Okay, so let's hit this one now. So again, I'm going to be moving my body, sliding towards the target. Okay, not too bad, straight over the hole, so it started on line. So let's have a quick look at the numbers. As you'd expect with me moving towards the ball, I've taken a little bit of loft off. So I've took 5 degrees of loft off. I've hit 4.8 degrees down onto that golf ball, and the path's out to the right. Okay guys, so remember when we're hitting down to the ball, the same as if we're hitting an iron or a wedge, if I'm still hitting down, that club is still working out to the right, so it's not reached its low point in which it's then working to the left. Okay, so path's out to the right, and again, energy wise we lost 9.5%. so let's have a quick look. Okay, so because I've hit down on that and I've taken loft off, it's actually given us top spin energy of adding 3.1%. So you can see I hit that on line, but because it had too much pace, it's popped up over and stayed out. Okay, so this is something I see. It's very hard for me to judge distance control. Some will come off really fast when I do this. Okay, so again, I start to hit more past. So what I then see is people make a compensation that they'll slow the putter head down and decel, okay, and then they start to leave some short, okay, because they can't figure out why that's happening and why it's coming off so quick. So face to path was pretty good, so we only lost 0.4, again because of a little bit of cut spin. Again, if that club's still working down, it's still going to be slightly open again, okay. But the biggest thing, 12.3% of energy was lost from hitting the heel, okay. So again, that putter is working down, still not reached its low point, so it's not able to square up. Okay, so it's a heel strike, which is then going to lose us a lot of energy. So then with that, with the topspin, it's very hard to judge whether you're going to be long or short. If we're on shorter putts, they might come off quick. When we get to longer ones, we might struggle to get there. Okay, so it makes it very inconsistent. It brings in 3 putts, makes it very hard to get 2 putts. Even your short putts then are very hard because you just don't know how quick they're going to come off, especially if we have a big breaking putt. So now let's look at the opposite. So let's look at somebody who sways off the ball. So we slide towards and we sway away. Okay, so we sway off the ball and they stay there. Okay, these are the guys that feel like they top the ball, they feel like they hit it really thin off the low part of the face. Okay, it starts to bobble a lot. So let's have a look what that does to the numbers. Okay, so again, take my time, make sure this ball's lined up, even though I know I'm trying to do something I wouldn't normally do, I want to see how it affects the roll, because for me this is all good feedback, because I can then start to notice when people come for lessons what kind of spin it might have. Okay, so I've lined that up now. So again, I'm going to fall back, so I'm going to sway away. So a little bit hard. Okay, really low on the face there, didn't feel a great strike. Okay, so let's have a quick look at those now. So again, falling back, something we'd feel like we would see is a little bit more loft. So I have added 4.6 degrees of loft. Okay, I've hit up on the ball 5.3 degrees. The path's still out to the right. Okay, so I said if we was hitting down, that path would be out to the right. But what a common thing I see is because people are leaning back, and if I lean back, it would encourage that face to close and the ball to come off left. A natural compensation for me is to start to drive that club towards the hole. Okay, so to keep that open, so I'm keeping that path out to the right to get that ball to start on line. Okay, you know, it's not just amateurs. You know, McIlroy, I saw a video the other day, that's something that he does. You know, he starts to get a little bit behind, so he has to start to bring the arm off, otherwise he's going to pull it left. Okay, so that's something that he's done, but again, he can hit 1,000 putts a day and get used to it. Us mere mortals can only putt maybe once a week, okay, for 20 minutes before we go out for a round. Okay, so path still out to the right. Energy loss, we only lost 4% of energy, which is pretty good. Okay, so let's have a quick look. So because I'm hitting up so much and I've not added as much loft, we're still getting some topspin on the ball, so it's not put any backspin on there. Okay, so because I've got a little bit less loft than the upward motion, get the ball coming off the face with a little bit of topspin. Okay, so face to path through impact, again still a little bit open. Again, that movement for me to hold off and keep it open to get that ball to start on line, you know, that's something that's in there, but that only lost us 0.7. And then again, off the heel, so that path's still working excessively out to the right, so the tendency is to catch on the heel. Okay, it's not just the lower body having a rotary motion that can make us inconsistent, it's also very much a lateral. So lateral I see just as much as people being rotary. So again, it's identifying what you do wrong. Lining the ball up, we're giving ourselves feedback, and again we want a drill now, so obviously before we had the drill sat behind to see if we've got any rotary motion. Okay, now what we want to do is get something laterally to give us some feedback. Okay, so if you're at home, you can put 2 chairs, you could have those up at the side of you, you could have your golf bag at one side if it can stand, whatever you've got. Okay, chest of drawers, anything. Okay, so if you're out on the putting green, you know, you can have your alignment sticks, so stick 2 alignment sticks in, okay, either side of you. If you have any kind of movement, you're going to hit those, so your feedback's there straight away. So we want to get these legs pushing out, glutes activated, and then we're just rotating around our upper spine, our thoracic spine. Okay, so it gets that motion consistent. We don't have any kind of movements. Okay, for some unknown reason, the only things I left at the studio was the alignment sticks. So again, if you're at home or if you're on a golf course, if you're at the putting green, you can use 2 clubs as a reference and put them on the side. Okay, again, I would go start with the grips either side, but then to make it harder, you can go having the clubs themselves, because again, any kind of little movements there, and you'll see if I have any kind of lateral, they'll start to come off. Okay, that's going to help us get the lower body more stable. So that and the drill from Monday. So again, if you're in the house, you can rest up against a wall and you can have something either side. Okay, so the more we do that now, when we get back onto the course, it's going to be more natural movements. It might feel that you're stuck and you've got no movement, but again, it's going to give you that feel. You're going to get used to it, and then when we go on the course, that will become the norm, so you're not going to have to think about it. So that should help us improve your consistency, improve your strike, improve the roll, improve the start direction, and all around make you a better putter. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. So we'll see you again on Monday, where we're going to be looking at the short game. As for now, have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday.